The M1 Garand was a beloved weapon of all Americans during the Second World War. But why? And why were the Germans scared of it? Well, more on that in this video. But before I can show you all about this gun, we're first going to talk about the history of it, because it has quite an interesting history. It was designed in 1924 by John C. Garand. In 1936 it became the official rifle of, the standard rifle of the American Army. It stayed that way until 1957. Do I say that correctly? Well, what that means is that it didn't only serve in the Second World War, it also served in the Korean War. And the M1 Garand is still the weapon of choice for parades or anything, or the Garden of the Tomb is also done with an M1 Garand, so it's still used kind of until today. But in total, 5.4 million units were produced. But isn't that weird? Well, no. It was a reliable weapon, almost never broke down, and was really easy to clean. It was a semi-automatic, which means you have a difference between automatic and a semi-automatic. A semi-automatic, you reload, and every time you pull the trigger, it shoots. With an automatic, every time you reload, you can just hold the trigger and it keeps shooting. So that was the difference. But why were Germans so scared of it? Well, the main reason being the German army was still heavily relying on the K89. They tried to make the M1 Garand itself. Their version was the G41, I think. They even tried to steal it. There were also reports of German soldiers even stealing the guns and using it themselves. Some were stolen by the government itself to look into it and look how it worked so best. But why were they scared? Simple reason. It's all about firepower. The Germans were relying on bolt action, the K89K. So they gotta reload every time they shoot. The Americans used a clip of 8 bullets, as you see here. It was chambered in 3006 and it took these clips. You could shove it from the top. And it could house 8 bullets. So in total, you could fire 8 bullets in a short period of time. If the Germans wanted to fire 8 bullets, first of all, they couldn't, because they only had 5 bullets on a clip. And second of all, they gotta reload every time you shoot. So even an experienced shooter with K89K will not be able to reach the firepower of the M1 Garand, because in total it had a firepower of 160 to 240 per minute. And it had an effective range up to 550 meters, was still far, and even was really accurate. And for being an M1 Garand, it was, and a semi-automatic, it was quite accurate and effective up to 550 meters. That's just insane. But now I will get more into the features of this M1 Garand. I'm going to show you a little bit about the gun, but I'm not going to show that myself, and I'm just going to give you clips and tell about it. So let's go. So here we have the gun. So as I said, it's a complete replica. It isn't dangerous or anything. It's just a replica. It can shoot. As you can see here, it's closed. So the M1 Garand. Let's take a dive. So it had a simple sling, as you see here, where you can throw it back on your shoulder, as you see me doing much of my videos. And then the reloading mechanism is right here, so you can pull this thing back, shove your ammo in, and close it back. You have 2 options here to control your, your scope to kind of. It has like a little round here, and then on top it has like a metal piece, so you can kind of look through straight to here. So you have 2 sides, and you can turn them, and it will either move side to side or tilt a little bit or tilt down. So it also had, as you see here, is the trigger. And also just take a second to look at this beautiful gun. One unfortunate thing about the M1 Garand is when reloading you need to push it in, and some soldiers, their fingers would get caught up right here. In my previous video I made about the M1 Garand, I already did like a Garand thumb. So I'm just going to give you the clip of that in a second. So let's go. As you saw, it wasn't really that painful, but I understand if you're fighting in a battle and suddenly you have like a pinch in your finger, it hurts a lot. But also a famous thing about the M1 Garand is of course the ping. So it will be caused by the clip flying out. And we had some technical difficulties, but we are back. So as you see, it's a beautiful weapon. In total it weighs 4.9 kilos, and I had a total length of 1 meter 10. It's an astounding weapon. It's so beautiful and still loved by many. It had a great firepower and just a very beautiful, reliable and good gun. So I'm going to give you some other shots of the M1 Garand now, and then I'm going to do the outro. So let's go. So now you know why Germans were so scared of this weapon, and you also now know why this weapon is so beautiful. You have seen it enough. So as I said before, the weapon is not dangerous, so don't be scared. It's just a replica. But enough about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like this type of videos. If you want to see more of this type of videos, let me know in the comments, because sometimes I not really have much ideas about what people would like to hear about. So I'm really open to everything, maybe a small documentary, a reenactment thing or something. So let me know in the comments. I also have some very cool things coming up, like the restoration of that helmet. I'm currently restoring a bicycle from the Second World War. I'm also restoring a gas lamp, and I'm planning to make a reenactment video in December, so in the winter. So I hope that will be very cool. So if you want to see all of that, be sure to subscribe and like, and I hope you have a nice evening, and see you at the next video. WW2 out.